Well, Instagram Reels is getting bigger and bigger. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Instagram Reels for business, including some best practices and ideas to think about. All right, let's get into it. Hey, welcome to 5 Minute Social Media, where we help overwhelmed business owners become streamlined entrepreneurs by helping them eliminate 50 to 80% of their social media workload while increasing results. If that sounds like something you could use in your business, take a second, hit subscribe, click that bell. And that way you'll be notified each week when we release another helpful video. Also, if you're struggling with engagement, reach, sales, anything on social media, I've got this social media quick fix guide. It's normally $19, but I've made it free for my YouTube family, and I'll tell you how to get it at the end of this video. My name is Jerry Potter. Yes, it rhymes with the boy wizard. And today we are talking about Instagram Reels for business. First, I'm going to give you a walkthrough on how to use the app. Then I'm going to share some best practices and ideas specifically for how you can use it for your business. So I'm going to film my Instagram Reel outside today, so I figure we come out for the tutorial as well, instead of sitting back in the office. Now, one thing, I had to find a place to set up, because one of the things that's frustrating with Instagram Reels is all of the icons over here, as you can see, are in white. And so originally I was in front of this hill and then the sky, and you couldn't see them at all. So that's why I'm sort of awkwardly perched in front of this tree. So we're going to walk through the steps about how to put together your Instagram Reel, going through the things on the screen. And I want to tell you first, there are the things you can do before you record your reel, so that, for example, you can hear the music while you're recording it. And then second, there are the things you can do after you've recorded it, and we'll go through those as well. So to get started, you of course open the Instagram app, and there's two ways you can go in to create a reel. The first way is just on the Instagram home screen here. You can push that plus sign on the upper, near the upper right there, or from your profile, you can hit this plus sign, and it will actually give you a choice to upload or do all kinds of different things in here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap Reel. So starting up here in the corner, that's just some settings for your Reels. You won't be in here regularly, but you can go through and say you want to automatically save your Reels to your phone if you want to do that. And you can also default to the front camera or the camera on the back of your phone. And then you can also decide which side you want the tools on, so if it's more comfortable on the left or the right, which is kind of a cool thing they did. Next, if you use any phone camera, you probably know what that is. That's to turn the light on or off or auto, so you can cycle through those. The X over here is, of course, to exit out if you don't want this reel anymore. And then these are going to be your production tools here on the right. So the first one is music, and this is sort of the beauty behind Reels and, of course, TikTok, is that they've negotiated deals with all of these record companies so you can get like some of your favorite songs from the biggest artists in the world to use in your reel. So that's why there is so much dancing and things like that. So to use it, you would just tap on that music icon, and then this brings up a search engine basically for all kinds of songs. And so if I wanted something, let's say, because it's a nice sunny day, I could type in sunshine. Bunch of songs that mention sunshine come up. So I can play it here to preview it, or I can just tap on it to add it. And then once it's there, you can decide which part you want to be in your video by scrolling back and forth and choosing different parts. And they'll usually choose probably the most popular section or the chorus of the song by default. And so you can kind of leave it by that. And you can see as I'm scrolling, the lyrics are moving up and down on the screen, so you can kind of see exactly where it is. Once you've got the part that you want, you just hit done. And now you can see it's changed to that Natasha Bedingfield album cover, Pocket Full of Sunshine. And when I go to record, it's actually going to play that music in the background. So if you wanted to dance to it or talk to it or point at things or whatever else it might be in rhythm to the music, then you can hear it there. If you're just playing with it, you decided you didn't want the music, just tap on it there again, and then you can hit delete, and it will be gone. So next up under the audio is the length of it, and Reels can be up to 30 seconds, but you can also set your limit ahead of time if you want it to only be a certain length. They can be shorter as well, but once you choose this, it can't be any longer than that. So it says 30, you see, I tap on it, now it says 15. So if I all of a sudden have this 16-second idea, it's not going to fit. So unless you want to cap it to a certain length, you could just leave it at 30. Either way certainly works. Next up below that is the speed. And if you've watched Instagram Reels, you've probably seen lots of people doing some very cool dances and different things at different speeds. So you can choose the speed ahead of time. So for example, I tap on that 1x, and then you can see I can go 3 times as fast, twice as fast, 4 times as fast, or the two at the top are 1/3 speed or half speed. And so you can film in those speeds, and then it'll play back at regular speed, okay? So once you choose that, So for example, if I choose 4X, and then I go ahead and tap the record button, and that's just that button there in the center. By the way, one difference from Instagram Stories. Instagram Stories, you have to hold the button down with the default. There is another place you can do it where you don't. But here, there is no way to just like take a photo in Instagram Reels right now, so you just tap it once and it will start recording. I'll show you how you can use still images in your Reels here in just a second. So I tap that, starts recording. So I'm here, I'm talking, I'm waving, I'm dancing, which you don't want to see, but you get the idea. I hit stop. Now I'm going to go back and check it, and you can see I did 4X, right? So it's playing back super, super fast. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I don't need that clip. Next below that is effects, and these are similar to the ones in Instagram Stories if you're familiar with those. So I can tap on that, and then you can choose by scrolling here at the bottom. So I'm not going to go deep into these, but here's Window by Instagram where you can add a photo or a video for your background. Here's one called Smooth Skin, makes you look extra lovely. So you can cycle through and play with different filters here if you want. Look at that. Wow, I'm sparkly. Next below that is Touch Up, and you can tap that, and now it's activated. And I can hold it and drag it up and down, and I can't really tell by looking. I guess some of my freckles are getting a little bit more hidden. I don't know. Can you see a difference? You can let me know in the comments. But anyway, that's to sort of touch up, make yourself feel better about the way you look. Tap it again if you want to shut it off. And then this last one down here is the timer. And so if I tap that, now I said it earlier, I set the whole thing so I can go up to 30 seconds. But depending on what you're doing, you might want a certain section to only be a certain length. And so if you wanted to do that, you can drag this and say, okay, I only want this to be 1 second. Like let's say you wanted your 30-second reel to have 31-second clips. Well, this is one way to make sure that they are only that long. You can also choose how long the countdown is by tapping up here. So you can do a 3-second countdown or a 10-second countdown, depending on how much time you need to set up. Then we hit set timer. And now when I tap record, there'll be a 3-second countdown. It'll record for 1 second, and then it'll be done. So I tap that. So we have 3, 2, 1. Here it goes. And oh, and that's it. 1 second goes very fast, doesn't it? Now you may notice that now that I've recorded that clip, there's another one that is shown up underneath here, and that is called Align. It's kind of creepy if you're watching it right now, but what Align does is it lets you line things up. So it's showing my previous clip, and then now I could have two of me and make sure that I'm in front of the other one, like, hey, I'm a twin, or whatever it might be. So sometimes if you've watched a lot of Reels, they do this on TikTok as well, people are having, I'm gonna turn that off because it's getting kind of weird. They're having a conversation with themselves in a different costume or different things like that. So it allows you to line your next shot up with your previous shot, okay? So those are the settings with what you can do before you record your reel to get it all ready. Now, I wanna show you really quick. Let me just record a couple more things here. So I'm going to hit record, and now I'm talking, and then I'm going to hit stop, and then I'm going to hit record again, and now I'm doing this, and I'm going to stop, okay? So once I've got all my clips, and you can probably see up along the top here, these are each of your clips, and the overall length compared to the full 30 seconds. So now I tap this little left arrow, which is to the left of that record button, tap that. And now these are each of the clips that I recorded. So I can go to each one now, and I can delete them, which is of course the trash can, or I can trim them. So this one's a little longer. So I go to trim, and then if I want it to be shorter, like where my hand started coming in, then I can drag those bars, and I can have it trimmed just to that part. You can also see, you can see the time. So if I want that to be exactly 2 seconds. So once I have it where I want it, I just hit trim. And now that's been saved in that way. Once I've done everything I want to do with these, I can hit done. I told you I'd show you how to add a still photo, because you can't take, as of this recording, you can't take a still photo in Instagram Reels, but I can tap on my camera roll down here in the lower left. And by the way, I'm showing this on an iPhone, but Android should be very similar. Once your camera roll's open, you can tap on the one you want, and then it'll default here to about 5 seconds. But just like with the other ones, you can drag and trim. So you can see it's 5 seconds, and then you can trim it to be shorter if you want. Then when you're done, hit add in the upper right corner, and now that's been added to the reel. So now if I go and play the reels, you can see all of the clips here. They're all there in order. And you can pull video clips off of your camera the same way, which actually I'm going to do here in a second when we actually make the reel that I'm going to make today as part of this demonstration. So once everything's the way you want it, then tap the right arrow to the right of the record button. So I'm going to tap that, and it's going to pull up your reel, and it's going to basically play it the way that it looks. So I've loaded this video from my camera roll that I'm going to make my Instagram reel out of. Full disclosure, I actually filmed this outside of the Instagram app because there's this high-speed effect in there that you can do in the Instagram reel, as I showed you, but I thought it was easier to do it in a different tool. But I've got it all loaded up. If I wanted to trim it at all, again, I can just drag the edges here, but I've already timed this out to be 30 seconds. I'm going to hit Add in the upper right corner and then tap that right arrow. Now I'm going to show you the things you can add to an Instagram reel after it's gone up. So first, in the upper left corner, that back arrow, that is just there for if you wanted to go back and change anything. The next one is a download arrow. You can tap that and it will save a copy of your reel to your camera roll. Next up is your audio mixer. So I can tap on that, and I didn't add any music to it, but if I did, so I can go in here, choose a song, and now it's playing both of them at 100%, or I can drag my finger and say, oh, I only want the music to be at 25%, I want my audio at 100%. Or maybe you don't want your audio at all and you want all the song. But you can come in here and you can mix that exactly where you want it. Now, in this case, I actually want my audio all the way up and I don't want any music. So I'm going to go back in here, hit that delete icon, and now I'm all set. Next up, that little microphone. This is so you can record a voiceover. So you might want to add narration after you finish your reel. So you can hit record, and now I'm talking on top of my own Instagram reel. You can see the bar turning red there. When you're done, hit stop. Now I don't want that, so I'm going to tap this little X on the lower left. Discard, yes, and so that is gone. Next up after the microphone is the stickers tab, and if you're familiar with Instagram stories, just like that, I will tell you when you scroll, not as many are loading, but you can search for whatever you want. So I could search for, I'm going to search for nap, because at the end of this video, I'm very tired. So I type in nap and hit return, and then I can scroll. First, it'll bring up the emojis, then the GIFs. I'm going to grab this GIF that says, I need a nap. I'm going to pop it in right there. Now, at the bottom left there, you see it says tap to set duration. And so I'm going to tap on that. And now I can drag to select exactly where I want this to appear. And I actually want it just at the very end where I am lying in the grass. And I'll show you what this whole thing looks like when I'm done in a second here. So I've got that there. And now I want to move it up here, pinch to zoom or make it bigger. And so now it's just showing up at the very end there. So I hit done. And you can kind of see in the background, it's still there, faded out on the upper right, just so you kind of know where the placement is, but it's not going to show up until the end there. So you can add as many GIFs or stickers or whatever you want inside of here. Just use the search function. After that is the drawing tool. So if you wanted to go in and draw on the screen, you can choose your color. You can, draw arrows, whatever you want. Then once you hit done, but one thing to know is this does not have the ability to be assigned only to a certain part of the video. So I'm going to actually go into there again, and I'm going to hit undo and get rid of those because I don't want those, at least not where I'm looking at it right now. Hit done. And then the last one is your text. And this is where you can add text to your video, and you can add it to where it shows up only on certain places. So I'm going to tap that, and I'm going to put in my text. So I've put in what I want. I'm going to scroll through and choose the font I want. I want that one. And then these are also similar to Instagram stories, so I'm not going to go too deep, but you can tap these up here for different text effects. Now that I've got that where I want it, I hit done. I'm going to put it right here so it's front and center. Drag it around. That line means I've got it centered. Now at the bottom you can see a tiny piece of it. It says if you, and so I want this to just show up at the beginning. So I'm going to drag this back. I'm going to have it go away pretty much when I start running away. Once you've got everything the way you want it, you're going to hit that Share To at the bottom. And don't worry, there's another standby screen. It's not going to go up right away, so I tap that. Now I can write a caption. You can put in some hashtags as well. Underneath that, it's just pointing out, hey, this is not an Instagram story, it's not a feed post, this is to share to Reels. And then under that, you can share it to the feed as well. And I'll show you what you want to keep in mind if you do share it to the feed in just a second, but it's just a great way to get more exposure. So I suggest leaving that on. You can also crop the profile image. So basically you can see this is the square that's going to show up on my profile. And if I put my finger on it, I can drag it up and down to the exact piece that I want. So generally, if you're centered, then it should be fine. While you're on this screen, you also want to choose your cover. So you can see the thumbnail of the cover there on the upper left. So I'm going to tap on that, and it will let me drag through here, and it's pretty accurate, and choose exactly what I want the cover to be. But if you want to go all out, although I kind of like that one, the I need a nap one. If you want to go all out, you can add something from your camera roll, and what I like to do is create something in Canva or another graphic editing program. So here's the one that I designed in Canva, and I'll give you the dimensions here in a second, but I'm going to hit done. So your overall thumbnail, you want to be 1080 by 1920 pixels. So that's vertical because it's going to be watched vertically on the phone. And then I made myself this little template, but I'll give you the dimensions here. Basically, the part that's going to show on your profile grid is just going to be a square. And so if you have words up here, they're going to get cropped off. And so this is exactly 420 pixels here at the top, and then again at the bottom that'll get cropped off. And then this blue section here that I have, this is 135 pixels. And when it comes up just in the regular news feed on Instagram, the top and the bottom will be cropped off. And then of course in Reels, the entire thing will show up. And then you're gonna hit next, but if you wanted to come back to this later, you could hit save as draft. And actually, let's do that just so you know where they are, so you can save as draft, because these can take a while depending on what all you put into them. Now I'm on my profile, and if I tap the Reels tab right there, then I can see I have my drafts there. So I can go in, tap that again. So this time I'm going to hit next. And this is the disclaimer that pops up letting you know that anyone can create Reels with your audio. So whatever you say, somebody else could take it and remix it, as it's called. You could also turn off that. It says that you can turn off remixing for each reel or change the default in your settings. Then when you're ready to go, you hit share and up it goes. Now, it can take some time to upload depending on how long it was, how complex your edits were, what your internet speed is. So just make sure to give it time till it fully uploads. And now you can see there it is, ready to go so people can come and watch it. Now, a few more things you can do to maximize this after it's already up. First, you can share it to your Instagram story. So I can come down here and I can tap that little paper airplane and then add the reel to my story. And it's just like sharing a post or anything else to your Instagram story. So you can pop it in there and people can watch it there or tap on it to go to it. If you have a beautiful Instagram aesthetic on your grid and you don't want it there, you can tap on it, tap the three dots on the upper right corner, and you can remove it from the profile grid if you want to have it not mess up your beautiful aesthetic that you have. I don't have one of those, so I'm not worried about it, but I know a lot of people do. And now I'm going to play the final product here so you can see how it came out. When your social media post is just a giant block of text, looking at it is like looking at this hill. It looks exhausting. Oh my God, I've only read the first 3 lines of your post. I'm already tired. Okay, if you want people to read your posts, don't make it hard on them. Break up your text. Make it nice and easy. Woo, that was a long post. Oh, can you give this video some love? I almost died trying to make my point. 2 more best practices to be aware of. 1, you got to post regularly on Instagram Reels for maximum impact. So if you want to really get out there for your business, you want to make sure to commit to posting regularly. And then 2, focus on engagement. Make sure you have a good caption and you are asking people to engage in some way, because that's what you're going to get your reel in front of as many people as possible. Was this video helpful? Let me know by giving it a like or leaving it a comment. You're not only supporting me at 5 Minute Social Media, but also my 2 tiny superheroes at home. And as promised, how to fix your social media problems. I've got this social media quick fix guide on the screen. You can use that link to get to it. You can also find a clickable version of the link in the description of this video. While you're here, check out what else we've got going on with free trainings by looking at what's on the screen.